If you are a working mother, I can already tell you right now, you have too much on your to-do list, okay? Being a successful business owner does not mean you need to work 80-hour weeks, 100-hour weeks. Maybe you used to do that in your old job. That is not necessary. Today, we are going to talk about how to run your business while raising children. I have some very specific steps that I want you to take to make your life easier as you balance business and your family life at the same time. Use them as your inspiration to grow your business and grow your life and grow your goals and achieve everything that you want as a business owner. Flexibility is your friend, right? You are the boss. So make sure you're not being an to yourself, right? The next tip that I want to give you is honestly what I have found to be like the key to life. And this is one of the biggest things that I learned in 2024.
Welcome to the Hello 7 podcast. That's 7 as in 7 figures. I'm your host, Rachel Rodgers.
Hello. Welcome back to the Hello 7 podcast. A new year, new you, new goals, and we're going to hit them all, okay? We're going to do it together. And today I'm going to talk about a topic that is going to help you achieve that, particularly if you are a parent, or maybe you're somebody who wants to become a parent and this is something on your mind. Today, we are going to talk about how to run your business while raising children. Yes, the two go together, okay? So if you're a parent and an entrepreneur, or a business owner already, or maybe just an aspiring entrepreneur, maybe you're thinking about quitting your job and you're asking yourself, how am I going to make this work? How am I going to manage children and manage a family and manage building a business? I will tell you, I actually think it's easier. I've had a 9-to-5 and I've run a business for many years. And I think it's easier to manage kids while having the flexibility of being the boss, right? When you're a business owner, you're the boss. So you get to shape your calendar. You get to decide how your time is spent. And I think what parents need most of all is flexibility, right? You need the flexibility to be able to show up to little Jimmy's recital, right? That's at 11 o'clock on a Thursday. And you also need the flexibility to go to a doctor's appointment, leave work a little early on a particular day because you need that, right? And so that is the beauty of being a business owner. You have that flexibility. I think far too often we become entrepreneurs, we become business owners, and then we adopt the same thinking that we got from our corporate jobs, right? So our corporate jobs, just, we had to be there at 9, didn't leave till 5 or 6, and, just sat at the desk focused all day, right? From Monday to Friday. Now, you might have adopted that exact same schedule for your business, even though maybe it doesn't serve you. Maybe you have more energy in the evenings. Maybe you're a night owl and you want to spend the mornings with young children at home and then you spend your evenings working, right? Great. You get to do that as a business owner. Flexibility is your friend, right? You are the boss. So make sure you're not being an asshole to yourself, right? Make sure your boss isn't an asshole and it's you, okay? So use that flexibility to your advantage to be able to move between your roles as parent and business owner, and with some flow, right? And it takes time to get into that flow. There was a time where I would struggle between the various roles, but now there is such flow where I just meander between the roles with ease, right? It doesn't feel stressful. I'm not worried about, my children not getting enough attention. I'm not worried about my business not getting enough attention. I am moving with ease between the two. Now, are there ever times where it doesn't feel easeful? Yes, right? There are times where it's just really busy. There's times when family life is really busy. There's times when business life is really busy. And, you give attention to what is requiring your attention at the time. So if the business needs lots more attention, then maybe you're recruiting grandma, right? Or recruiting some help to give your kids a little bit more attention while you're busy doing that in your busy season. And then when it's time for the kids, then focus on the kids and turn everything else off, okay? So we're gonna get into this. I have some very specific steps that I want you to take to make your life easier as you balance business and your family life at the same time, okay? And I want you to let go of these tropes that we see, right? We see it on social media, all the things about being a working parent, especially being a working mother, and all the stress and all the struggle, and then we adopt it as our identity, right? And we make jokes about it and we're sarcastic about it, and that's all fun and funny, But we're also taking that energy back into our days. And it doesn't feel good to constantly feel like you're not doing enough. I'm not doing enough as a parent. I'm not doing enough as a business owner. I'm not doing enough as a partner. If you're, in a romantic partnership, right? I'm not doing enough as a friend. I'm not doing enough as a daughter, right? These are the stories we tell ourselves. And I want you to let that shit go. Okay, that is not helping you. It's not serving you. Instead, let's actually lead our lives with intention, use our time with intention. And that is the benefit of being a parent as a business owner, right? Is that you have no choice but to be intentional. Otherwise, you will just get clobbered and slapped around by all the responsibilities that you have. So that's the benefit, is that we have clear boundaries around our work when we have children. And that helps us, right? Because we don't need to be workaholics. Being a successful business owner does not mean you need to work 80-hour weeks, 100-hour weeks. Maybe you used to do that in your old job. That is not necessary. You can build a 7-figure business. I have an 8-figure business. And guess what? I don't work 80 hours a week. I don't even work 40 most weeks. So let me tell you, the amount of time that you are working each day does not necessarily correlate directly to how much money you are making. Okay? It's about what are you doing with that time? Right? It's about the quality of that time and how efficient you're being with that time. What are you working on? And is the thing that you're working on actually moving the needle for your business? Or are you just doing busy work all day or distracting yourself with nonsense all day and leaving the real work for later hours, right? And so then it just becomes this endless work day. So let's be intentional and let's talk about the steps that we need to do. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about too is just like the mindset around being a business owner and a parent. What you need to understand and recognize is that your professional goals and your financial goals are in alignment with your goals for your family. And if they're not, spend some time reworking those to get them into alignment, right? Reaching your professional and financial goals is good for you. It's good for your family. It's good for your children, right? All of those things are a win for everybody. And it's important that you spend some time really talking about that with your children, like help them to understand why your work matters. Okay, I'm getting into the tips. So let me just actually get into these steps. Okay, let's do it. So let's talk about step number 1. And this is actually something that I learned from my friend and coach, Susan Hyatt. So one of the things that she told me to do was schedule everything. Okay, like you can leave nothing off the calendar. Be very intentional with your schedule. And the way that you do that is like, it's not happening if it's not on the calendar. And that includes literally, you can put your sleep hours. Like what time are you supposed to go to bed? Put bedtime on the calendar. So I calendar everything with reminders. So I am reminded, what the hell are you supposed to be doing at this time? I know what you're doing, girl, but is that what you're supposed to be doing? Is that what you said you wanted to do with this time? And even if you change your mind, that's fine. But when you have those calendar entries in there and those reminders in there, it reminds you that, hey, this is family time. Are you sure you want to work late today? Or do you want to leave that for tomorrow? Right? Hey, you're supposed to be actually doing your workout right now. Are you sure you want to dive right into work first thing in the morning? Or are you sure you want to be doing kid things right now? Or are you supposed to be taking some time for yourself at this moment? Right? So it's a good reminder for how you want to lead your day. Are you going to have a perfect week every week? Absolutely not. Right? But you have the goal of, this is the week that I want to have. This is how I want to move. And you're also mapping your calendar to your energy too, and being realistic about like, how much can I actually productively do in one day? When are my best work hours? I'm a morning person. And so I put like the big important work. If I need to do writing, if I need to record podcasts, like I try to do those things as early in the day as possible because I'm a morning person and I start to fade as the day goes on, right? If you're a night person, maybe you're putting some work hours in the evening after your kids go to bed, for example. But you get to create the schedule that you want for yourself, right? Nobody's in charge but you. So be kind to yourself and actually map your work and your responsibilities to the energy that you have as much as you can. Okay. So let's talk about some of the things that you might put on your calendar. So again, it's like, how do you want to wake up in the morning? We are not doing the 18-step, white boy schedule that has been told to us by every, 18-year-old entrepreneur that's building their business from Thailand or whatever, right? Like that's not realistic for us as parents, as mothers. We're not doing that. So, but we can still have a beautiful morning. Like we don't have to do the journaling and the writing 15 pages and the listening to a podcast and the meditating for an hour. Like we don't need to do 18,000 steps first thing in the morning. That sounds really annoying to me, actually. I don't want a to-do list. I don't want a to-do list for my self-care in the morning. That sounds too complicated. But I do want to take some time for myself. So for example, what this looks like for me is I get up earlier. Why? Because I need to beat these kids, okay? What I mean by that is like, I need to beat their wake up time. So if they wake up at 7, I'm getting up at 5 or I'm getting up at 6. And I have been doing this for years, ever since my kids were little. Because I would get out of bed in the morning and literally the moment my feet hit down from out of bed, like my kids would pop up. And I was like, hell no. I do not want the first thing that I experience in the morning is little people asking me for shit, because we know that that's what happens. We love them, but the moment they open their eyes, they start requesting things. I'm hungry. I need a diaper change if they're little. I don't know where my socks are. Can you make me breakfast? Whatever. Can you help me with whatever it is? And like, yes, we want to be present for all of that, but we're going to be a lot more present if we take some time for ourselves first. So I highly recommend that you, if at all possible, wake up before your children, even if it's 15 minutes. Just give yourself a few minutes to actually wake up, to have a moment to yourself, to have thoughts to yourself, to enjoy the quiet of the early morning. And so I remember when my kids were little, they were getting up at like 6 a.m. or whatever. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to get up at 5:30. I got up at 5:30. They popped right up. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to try 5. Got up at 5 a.m. They popped right up. It's like the moment I moved, they have special radar. It's like, nope, mommy's up. Let me start requesting things. And so then I was like, okay, 4:45, 4:30. And it wasn't until I rolled up my wake up time till 4:30 in the morning that I could actually get up without them also getting up. They were still deep in enough sleep that like I was able to go enjoy some morning time without them. So I got up at 4:30 a.m. I would take that time to do some journaling. I might write a to-do list of just get the thoughts out of my head. What are the things that I'm thinking about? Or what are the problems I need to solve, or the to-do list that I have, right? And then I would go work out. And I'd work out for 45 minutes at the gym and then come back home, and they'd be just waking up, and then I could do the morning routine and be fully present for them. Because guess what? Moving your body puts you in a good mood, okay? Having some alone time where you had an hour or an hour and a half where no one asked you for anything in the morning, it's so special. It's magical. If you enjoyed what you heard in this episode, then you are going to love my course, We Should All Be Millionaires. It is going to help you level up your money mindset and take specific actions that will allow you to grow your money, grow your business, and have more success and joy while you do it. I am giving you the first 2 lessons of this course completely for free just for being a subscriber. So all you need to do, go to hello7.co/lessons and you will get those 2 free lessons of We Should All Be Millionaires. The lessons come with videos, worksheets to help you take immediate action. You also get access to a community of people who have also joined to get these free lessons. So all you have to do is go to hello7.co/lessons to download them now. So that is one of my tips. You could also do this in the evening. So if you're a night person, maybe you want to wake up with the kids and do the morning routine. And then in the evenings, maybe that's where you're getting your time. Whatever you do, just be intentional and make sure you're getting your 8 hours of sleep. Okay? Stop trying to run on 5 or 6 hours. That ain't it, okay? 7 or 8 hours every night will change your life for the better. And you'll be a lot more pleasant. You'll enjoy your work more, and you'll enjoy your children more. So that's what I do. I get up first thing in the morning. I get up at 5 a.m. I go for a walk in my neighborhood. It's dark. I hear the birds chirping, and I love it so much. It just makes me so happy to walk around. I don't even want to see people outside on the trail. Like, I don't want to encounter anyone, not my family members, not my neighbors. I don't want to see nobody talk to me, okay, for the first hour of the day. And then I come back from that walk and I'm just like, hello world, right? Like now I'm just a delight and I'm loving on everybody because I took some time for myself. So I highly encourage you to do that. and make sure you're getting some time for yourself in your day. So you're literally going to put it in your calendar. So I have a calendar entry for 5 a.m. every day to go for my walk, literally. So put that in there. The other things, like if you're running kids around to your extracurricular activities, put it in there, right? Like if your kids got to go to violin and soccer and all the things, put that all in your calendar with the calendar reminders, right? Make sure you've got that buffer for like that time it takes to travel there. And the reason why it's good to put every single thing, every single responsibility, because then you get to see your week and you get to see like, oh, I'm bugging. The amount of stuff that I have on my schedule, it's like if you open your calendar and it gives you like anxiety or you go into a panic attack, then that's letting you know you're signed up for too many things and you need to scale it back, right? And it could include maybe your kids don't need to do 7 different activities, or maybe you need to have a shorter work day and just be more intentional with the time that you do have to work, right? Like you get to change it, right? No one says 40 hours is not a mandate. Okay, you can work 18 hours a week and be successful. You can work 4 hours a week and be successful. You could work 80 hours a week and be successful, but also be miserable in the process because you're exhausted, okay? The other things, I mentioned your bedtime, put your family time in your calendar too. So I have like my work time. So 5 a.m. is my work time. Then, from 6 a.m. until, 8 a.m. is morning time with the family. So like, and it's spacious. So we're getting the kids ready, but we're also hanging out. We're having breakfast together. We're chit-chatting. Like that's a time for us to be together and enjoy some time together until we take them to school. And then we take them to school and I go right into work mode. Like I eat from 8 to 8:30. So I literally have my breakfast time in there. And then at 8:30, I'm starting my work day. Okay. And I have a lunch break built into my calendar. It reminds me, go eat your lunch, right? Don't sit in front of your laptop for 8 hours straight. Literally leave and go eat. Maybe go sit outside, right, on your porch or wherever. I don't know if you work from home, most people do as entrepreneurs, but take that break time and then finish your workday. I finish my workday around like 3:00 because that's when my energy starts to wane, right? And I'm no longer excited about working. So I'm ready to be done. And so I wrap up my workday and then my kids come home and it's, going to extracurricular activities. If you're having evening family time, literally put it into your calendar. So okay, this is family time. What are we doing with it, right? And you're reminded like, this is no longer work mode. Put the phone down, put the laptop down, walk away. Tomorrow's a new day. There will always be more work, always, right? But your kids are getting bigger and they're not always going to be little. So get that time in, right? And this is how you balance it all. And so you have the time for your professional pursuits, but you also have the time for your parenting and your family time and to enjoy it. Okay. All right. So I have a couple more things to say that are related to that, but I'm going to give you another tip to do next. Okay. So you've got your calendar. It's coded. You've got literally everything in there that you want to be doing with your day. So like I created sort of like a separate calendar that's called my perfect week. And I literally have it blocked in all of the time blocks. So I can see the time block. So when things get calendared against it, I can see, do I have the right things calendared at the right time? Okay. And it's a good thing to like go over your calendar, look back at it over the course of a year, over the course of the month, right? Each month, look at it and just say like, how did I spend my time? Did it feel good or did it feel stressful? And if it sucked, change it. Okay. All right. So then the next thing that you're going to do is delegate as much as humanly possible. Okay. Get rid of some stuff on your to-do list. So what I do is like every morning, I don't even do this anymore because things are so delegated that there's barely anything left on my to-do list. There's very few things and it's the things that only I can do. But for the most part, like when I was like getting there before I had a big team, I created a to-do list and I look at my to-do list and then I say, who can help me with these things? So some of it I might, give to my 13-year-old daughter, right? Some of it I might give to my husband. Some of it I might call my sister and be like, hey, can you help me with this thing, right? Some of it I might give to an assistant if you have an assistant. Some of it might be like, there's an app for that, okay? For example, like, you might need to run an errand. Okay, can we use Instacart, right? Do we actually have to go run the errand? So there might be an app for the thing, to get that off of your to-do list, but try to delegate delegate as much as possible, because especially if you are a working mother, I can already tell you right now, you have too much on your to-do list, okay? And you have too much responsibilities, because women are still, to this day, doing the majority of the domestic labor, okay? And even in the workplace, women get assigned all of this work that is, like throwing the parties and keeping the break room stocked and nonsense like this, right? And so just be intentional about delegating and asking for help as much as possible. I am the queen of it. Okay. If my friends come over, they're going to be put to work. Okay. I'm going to be like, hey, can you help me organize this bookshelf real quick? I know you got skills with organization. Can you help me? So trust me, if I see someone standing around that looks like they could be helpful, I'm going to ask for help. Now, sometimes they might say no, but listen, learn to ask for help. Stop trying to be a superwoman. Stop trying to be a hero. Stop trying to do it all yourself. Part of this is, right, control, right? Letting go and letting other people help you means you're not controlling every single part of the outcome perfectly. That's fine. You have more control, you have more work. Okay, so let go of control and let other people do it. Now, give them instructions on how you want it, right? But get it the hell off of your plate. So delegate as much as possible, recruit as much help as you can, all right? And this is something that I want you to turn into a daily practice. Every day, look at your to-do list and say, who can help me with some of this? And then get that off your plate. Ask them to help you. Once you assign it to somebody else, forget it exists. Focus on what you have to do, right? And then when that work comes back to you done, you can say like, hey, tweak this, tweak that, and then you're done, okay? So recruiting help is absolutely essential as a working parent, okay? All right. The next tip that I want to give you is honestly what I have found to be like the key to life. And this is one of the biggest things that I learned in 2024, which is learning how to be present. Right? Be present for the life that you are actually living and stop being in the future all the time or, rehashing the past. Like get present in today, into this very moment. So when you are at work, be in work mode, right? Enjoy your work. Be fully focused on your work. Don't think about all the other things going on that you are responsible for or what your kids are doing or what your spouse is doing or whatever else, what needs to be done around the house. Just focus on your work and allow yourself the joy and the pleasure of like going deep on your work and going deep on your creative things that you're doing, okay, in your work. So And the other thing too is when you're working, be at work with boundaries. So that means if I'm working in my home office, you better believe I lock the door. Yes, I lock my own children out. Okay. And if they knock on the door, I'm like, who is it? And they tell me which one of my children it is. And I say, what do you want? And they tell me what they want. And I say, I'm working right now. I'll be done at this time and I can help you then. Okay. Bye. So, and they already know. Sometimes they'll try the lock and they'll see that it's locked and then they just walk away because they already know mommy's working, mommy's focused. I'm going to leave her alone. So boundaries around your work. Same goes for home life, right? When you're at home, be at home with boundaries. That means if a client is texting you or emailing you and it's your evening family time, you're not responding. They'll get a response tomorrow. Okay. In fact, you shouldn't even know that email or text is coming in. Put boundaries around your family life in the same way, right? And protect that time that you've designated as the time to be with your children, to be with your partner, right? And enjoy it. The other thing is, if you struggle with putting boundaries around like between work and family, and you find yourself thinking about work during family time, I used to be like that, where I struggled to turn it off. That's just a realistic part of running a business because you're just thinking about it all the time. You're constantly strategizing and trying to figure out how to get to that next level, right? And sometimes it can be a struggle. And so here's what I want you to do. Actually schedule things. That's what I had to do. I had to schedule fun. So on the weekends, in order to not go back to work stuff, I literally had to schedule fun things to do. So I would schedule us like going to, a petting zoo, or I'd find like some fun activity to do, some other activity to do with my family, or I'd say, let's go for a hike. Like I would plan out my weekends so that I wasn't sitting at home thinking about work and like feeling like the computer was calling me. Okay. The other thing is same thing on the evenings, right? Like we'll pre-plan our evenings. And usually we're not doing a lot of activities in the evenings because we've worked, the kids went to school, there was extracurricular activities, everybody's done and over it, right? And so it's like, we're planning out what show we're going to watch together, what movie we're going to watch together, or what game we're going to play together, right? And so we're going to play Trouble, or we're going to play Scrabble, or whatever it is, but we're going to have some family time in the evening, and we just schedule that too. And then the other thing to help stay present during your family time is I literally leave my phone in another room. So I put my phone on the charger in my bedroom and I walk away and I leave it. And so I don't think about it for 2-3 hours in the evening. It allows me to stay focused on my family and not be going back and forth between work stuff or not be distracted scrolling Instagram when I'm supposed to be, being present with my children. So be present for your life. You'll enjoy it a lot more. I think it's harder in the beginning, right? So it might be harder to turn this into a practice if you were constantly like on the phone or being distracted by all the things. But allow yourself to practice this. It might take a couple of weeks, but then you're going to be like, what phone, right? You're going to be like, what client? You're going to be like, what business, right? And then you actually get to rest your brain. And then you come back to your business the next day, refreshed, focused with solutions to the problems. All right. Okay. So presence is an amazing thing. And then the other thing that I want to say is do mix work with family sometimes, right? Allow your children to be part of the experience of you running a business, right? Explain to them what you're doing. Explain what your business is. Explain to them why your business is important to you, right? And the impact that you're having on your clients and why this matters to you. This is all, everything is learning, right? So they're learning from your work style. They're learning from how you're carrying yourself. They're learning from you choosing your work and choosing to build a business, right? Like that's an exciting thing that they could learn. Why did you do that, right? So teach them. And then the other thing I would encourage you to do is talk to them about business. I remember when I was a kid, I was always sent out of the room when there was like talk about money, and we're the opposite, right? When we're talking about money or we're talking about business, we're like, no, you sit right there and soak all this up, right? Because after, 18 years of listening to us talk about business and money, right? Our kids have learned a lot of things that hopefully they'll take with them as they go and build their lives as adults eventually. So do mix it. And, I'm strategic about it. Like, don't bring your kids to business trips that they don't belong there. If you know you're going to be working the whole time, it's just going to be miserable. Don't bother. But if you have a business trip where you have a very small commitment, where it's only like, let's say I have an hour keynote in a new city, I might bring my family and then we enjoy a couple of days in that city. And there's only 1 hour that I'm away from them. And I even bring them with me and they can watch in the audience, right? When I host ROI, the Millionaire Summit, our big conference, they come and they get to experience it and see us doing it and see why it matters, right? And so do intentionally and strategically mix work and family life, but don't try to do it all day, every day, because it will just make you crazy and miserable. Okay. And last but not least, my very last tip for running a business while raising children is stop using your children as an excuse. Stop using them as an excuse for why you can never leave the house without them, why you can't go to that business conference, why you can't go do that speaking gig, why you can't commit to writing a book, why you can't record a podcast, why you can't, right? Why you can't grow your business. Do not use them as an excuse, okay? They don't want to be your excuse. Don't limit yourself in their name. Okay, that's whack. Instead, recognize that, you pursuing your goals and them watching you do that, you're modeling for them pursuing their own dreams. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And the other thing too is you don't need your kids' permission to leave the house. And your kids are going to be annoyed or disappointed or sad when you leave. You don't need their permission, okay? They're not adults. And in order to be a self-sustaining human, you need to get away from children sometimes, okay? So if you think that it's like a badge of honor that you've never been away from your children on an overnight, I'm telling you it's not, okay? And honestly, whenever I hear someone say that, I'm like, ooh, I worry for you, okay? Because I worry for your peace of mind and your sanity. I have many children and I understand First of all, I love my kids. I love being around them. As they're getting older, they're hilarious. They're fun. We have a great time together. They're great travelers, right? Like I love hanging out with them, and I love getting away from them sometimes and going and hanging out with adults and doing adult things that they have zero interest in. Okay. And so both are very important, and it's important for their own independence to spend time away. Even Dr. Becky, right? Like the foremost parenting expert of our time right now, talks about how important it is to spend time away from your children. Okay, so you're not doing them any favors, and you're not doing yourself any favors trying to be perfect and trying to act like you're a stay-at-home mom when you are a working professional. Okay, like let's be realistic about what we have capacity for, and make sure you take some time for yourself, not just for work trips, because I know how that is too. Oh, I'll leave for a work trip, but I won't ever leave for just a trip with my girlfriends or just, a spa day for myself. Make sure you're doing things for yourself as well, and leave them kids sometimes, okay? Leave them right where they at and go enjoy yourself. But don't use them as an excuse to not grow your business, okay? Instead, use them as your inspiration to grow your business and grow your life and grow your goals and achieve everything that you want, so that you model that for them, and then they know they can do it as well, okay? All right. Well, those are my tips for how to run your business and raise kids at the same time. So now you have zero excuses about, why your kids, because you're a parent, because you have kids, you can't hit your 2025 goals. Nonsense. Okay. Use these tips that I gave you. This is what I have done. I started having babies literally 6 months after starting my business, and just kept doing it. Right. So if I can do it, certainly you can do it as well. All right, y'all. That's what I have for you today. You
want to make more money? You are in the right place. Welcome to the Hello 7 podcast. That's 7 as in 7 figures. I'm your host, Rachel Rodgers.